Let this be a learning lesson. If you don't go back to the scriptures for yourself and actually, after you read the scriptures, ask God for some understanding. If you don't get any understanding, you will take literal comments like this from idiots and use it as law, or use it as a distraction, or actually follow it down a rabbit hole that you had no business running down. Marriage is about agreement, okay? The Christ loving the church as a marriage, it exemplifies several things. Yes, it exemplifies a marriage institution. It also exemplifies love. It also exemplifies a covenant. It also exemplifies love again, okay? It also exemplifies agreement, because God doesn't move beyond the choice that we supply him. But let's go with scriptures. Amos 3 verse 3 says, "Can two walk together except they agree?" Wow, here is the Bible talking about agreement, and it's saying, "Can two walk together except they agree?" We have an example of a marriage that was never supposed to be done, but God still had required this person to follow his commandments because of whatever agreements that was done in his father's house, as well as he was the king. We have 1 Kings 16:31. This is Ahab, who took to the wife of Jezebel, the daughter, and went and served Baal and provoked the Lord. Had a lot to do with his marriage here. Then we have 1 Kings 11 from 1 to 5. Solomon took wives from nations. God warned him not to marry. And why did he warn them not to marry them? Because they would stray him away from the Lord. I'm sorry, where is people getting the fact that every marriage is from God? The Bible shows that every marriage is not from God. The actual design of marriage was perfect. The original intent of marriage. But not every marriage is from the Lord. We have Bible for that. We have Ezra chapter 9 that talks about marriages that were never from God. Foreign marriages. In Ezra chapter 10 from 9 to 15, they had to separate from those people. The priest told them to separate from their wives. Why? Because they wanted to not only restore the people of Israel back to the Lord, but they wanted to restore the land back to the Lord, because they realized, oh my goodness, these were the same people God told them not to marry. Hello now, we gonna do Bible? Now let's talk about Matthew chapter 19 verse 6. Now, in the beginning of Matthew chapter 19, it was explaining the original design of marriage. But it said that the people, when Moses was around, they wanted an outlet. They wanted an outlet because they was running around doing stuff that they had no business doing. They getting married to people they had no business getting married to. Now all of a sudden they wanted an outlet. So Jesus was basically showing them, hey, you guys is the one who wanted an outlet. However, here's some of the parameters from the outlet, but I want you to know the original design. What was the original design for marriage? He explained that. And then he added in verse 6, therefore what God has joined together, let no man separate. Key word, what God has joined. It didn't say what man has joined. It said what God has joined. See, if we would just tell the truth, we would have way more godly marriages, which we will have. We would have way more people not getting married to witches and warlocks. And we would have way more people not getting their life getting destroyed, their destiny getting destroyed, their family lineage getting destroyed because they married the wrong person. If God warned it to his several people back then about groups of people not to get married to because they would stray away from the Lord, because they would destroy them, because it could destroy a land. Y'all don't pay attention to idiots that gives the comments that I showed y'all earlier. Until the next one, stand with God.